What is up, everyone? And thank you for tuning in to Don't Say the F Word, Pro Wrestling and Combat Sports Podcast, where we do not use the F word when we talk about professional wrestling. You shouldn't let your friends use it either. It's Sunday morning. We got some things to recap from Friday night Smackdown. We're going to talk about some of the big things that took place. One big thing, of course, is the return of, excuse me, let me do it. Let you do what? Let me say it. Let me say it. Let me say it. Let me say it. Come on. Let me say it. Let me say it. Let me say it. Okay, go ahead. The return of John Cena. He's very excited that John Cena's back. So excited that I'm wearing my Cena shirt. Look at that. Look at that. You can't see me. All right, bye. All right. That's Mark Monster, everybody. He's a big John Cena fan. He's a big MJF fan. He's got the people that he likes. So we'll just hit on that out the gate. John Cena made his return on SmackDown. Nothing in ring, just a video package. But we'll get to that in a bit. Just kind of want to recap some of the things that took place and just kind of talk about some stuff. So we had the Women's Tag Team Championship match, Liv Morgan and Tegan Nox versus Damage Control. Kind of have my notes here. Sometimes I forget there's a women's tag team title. I don't feel like it's just really given a whole heck of a lot, I guess. I don't know. I think that's always part of the show that's not really booked for me, kind of where my fandom's at with pro wrestling. So it's no hate, it's no shade. It's just like, man, I legit I kind of just forgot. I don't know. But they put together a match that a lot of people were happy with. They did have a hooded masked assailant, come in and do a run in. That was later on social media. It was revealed that it was Xia Li. But in the match, Damage Control defeated Nox and Liv Morgan. They kicked off the show with that match, but more importantly, how they kicked off the show, they did it's Friday night, and you know what that means on SmackDown. That's generally the thing reserved for AEW does it as paying homage to Brody Lee. And to best of my knowledge, is the first time they've done it on a WWE program. So gonna, salute Michael Cole for it. I'm a big Brody Lee fan. The guy put together a great body of work, and from everyone's accounts, just seemed to really be a great human. And Friday was his birthday. So I thought that was a really cool thing. He would have been 43. So just kind of a cool thing for WWE and Michael Cole to do. I don't know. I don't know. That was just really cool. I thought it was a little weird to not reveal who the hooded person was, except for on social media. But I guess, you got to keep that interest in there and got to hit that fan base too. We then had LA Knight calling out Bray Wyatt. Knight just kind of ran Bray Wyatt down about, the clown mask. It was cool that Wyatt, paid tribute to Brody Lee, as Luke Harper character with the yeah. You have Knight, reiterating that he knew it was Bray who's been attacking him, and Bray Wyatt, counterpointing that he hasn't touched him. Uncle Howdy made his physical appearance, not just on a screen, just physically being there to show that, hey, Bray Wyatt's not Uncle Howdy. I hope it's Bo Dallas. I don't know really how they tie everything in for it being Bo Dallas in a way that's like good and entertaining. There's been a lot of talk over the week of people kind of not really enjoying the Bray Wyatt thing right now. And that it's part of Triple H being underwhelmed by people he's brought back to WWE. I think the fact that there may be people out there who are, wrestling fans, we can be fickle, right? But I think there's people out there who probably wanted this to be like some super impactful right out the gate. Bray Wyatt's doing all this stuff. But I think the story he wants to tell with this character is just going to have a lot of layers. And it's going to be long-term storytelling, and it's got to have time to kind of get things into place. This is chess, not checkers. And I think Bray has a great mind. And I think the people right now who are kind of crapping on it are probably going to be people who in 4 months really love it. So I think they're just got to give these things time. They just got to work in there and create something really, really good. I think that, if I look back at everything with The Fiend, I look at the Firefly Funhouse, all the little vignettes showing the puppets and stuff. I'm like, what is this? Like, what are they trying to do? And then the first Firefly Funhouse, I don't remember like really like being that into it on the first one. I think a second and third was like, oh, this is cool, this is different. I was digging it, but I don't remember like really being keen on it out the gate. So I think anyone who's not really digging Bray Wyatt, just give it time, just enjoy it, take it in, and enjoy the story that's being told, and let him tell the story. Let's see where it goes. We had the IC match, the Intercontinental title match, Ricochet versus Gunther. Man, that was a good match. That match for me is like a solid B plus A area. I mean, I'm a big Gunther fan. I'm also a fan of Gunther. He's Big Walter. But I like Ricochet. They're very two contrasting styles, and they paint something beautiful inside the ring. The hard hitting, ring general that is Gunther versus the Ricochet's very acrobatic, very fast paced and moving a lot. And those two things together, guys who are that skilled at their art and the way they perform with each other, like they put together a great match. The ending with Braun coming out, I would imagine we're probably just going to see some tag stuff happen here and there between Imperium and Braun and Ricochet. Probably may lead to some more Ricochet Braun stuff. I certainly hope they're not going to an avenue of Braun being the guy to dethrone Gunther before we get to the potential Gunther Brock Lesnar matchup at WrestleMania. I don't know that I even want anyone to dethrone him from the IC championship before that. Maybe him and Lesnar. Maybe Lesnar takes a run at the IC title. I mean, that would be something kind of different for Brock to do. I know Brock's not a mid-card guy, but maybe he's done with Roman and he doesn't want to mess with that title. I think that would be an interesting story to tell. I don't know. I feel like I'm such a Gunther fan. I just don't want to see him lose that belt, but I know it kind of has to be to progress him into the next level, but I just don't know who right now in the mid-card is the guy to take the title off of him. We then had the triple threat tag team matchup, Hit Row versus Viking Raiders versus Legado del Fantasma. I have a hard time with that name, guys. I had to put it in my notes because it falls out of my brain. I don't know what it is. It's not, and they're a great tag team, and the name just, I lose it. I don't know why. So I talked about people kind of feeling some kind of way about Bray and, about the reports of Hunter being underwhelmed by people he's brought back. This is not me hating. This is not me trying to be disrespectful in any way, but I'm going to assume Swerve Strickland was the breakout performer of Hit Row when they were in NXT. I wasn't deeply following NXT at the time of Hit Row being in NXT. But man, the stick just doesn't hit with me. I don't get them being rappers because anything they've done that's been reminiscent of rapping or music coming out to the ring or being in the ring, for me, it's not good. It's not on par with the Acclaimed and what Max Caster does coming out. It's not that. And then just yelling Hit Row into the mic over and over again. It ain't getting them over. At least for me, it's just annoying. They sound terrible when they do it. And then you put them in matches with Legado del Fantasma, guys who can move and are very athletic. And Viking Raiders, who have this hard-hitting style and they look super aggressive with everything they do and everything's impactful. And then you have things happen like what happened with Top Dollar. I'm not the guy for calling people out on botches. It's not my thing. But it happened in a sense that like I would be remiss not to mention it. Like it would be ignoring something blatant to not mention it. And he just did a move he shouldn't have done. Like you could tell as he went for it, he wasn't feeling it. I would imagine he's done it before. He's hit it before. I'm sure he'll hit it at some point in time again. Hopefully they leave it for a little bit and let him build to it, like have him like be apprehensive about doing it and have it mean something when he does it and he executes it flawlessly and the crowd can pop. That should kind of be the story we tell. Thankfully, I'm very happy he was okay. It looked bad from a sense of I thought he could have been really injured. You never want to see that. But I hope they tell a story with this of maybe he develops a fear of doing the dive, so he goes for it, and he hits the brakes and tell that story for like 3-4 weeks. Him just hitting the brakes of the rope and just not going for it. Then have him do that big dive and have it mean a lot. I think about Taker's plancha over the top. You go back to like 97. Him and Shawn, prior to the Hell in a Cell, they had the match and Taker dove over and landed into the crowd of wrestlers. Yeah, it was so iconic for Taker in the mid 90s, late 90s. That became like that was in all the video packages, like Taker over the top rope and flying out to the outside. Build that moment for Top Dollar. Like have there be a period of us anticipating him doing it again and him overcoming the fear of it. I'm glad, I'm very happy the guy's okay, but I think there's a story to be told now. Now we can get people invested in Top Dollar because I've not been in. I watched the treasure show that they do that he was hosting where they were looking for the memorabilia. And he seems like a very likable guy. Seems like a really nice dude. So I don't want to see, him looked at negatively because one bad thing happens and something that those of us out here watching and having something to say can't do. I can't do that move. No, I'll be honest. I don't think I wouldn't even try because I know what would happen to me. So no way am I throwing shade at the guy. I haven't been the biggest fan of Hit Row overall because it hasn't hooked me yet as a fan. I think there's potential now with giving me a reason to believe in Top Dollar and want to see him hit that plancha. Like, tell me that story. Make sure it's safe. Make sure he feels good about it. Seems like, he tweaked something through that process and, but he did heal up. They did do the tapings for next week's Smackdown, which I won't deliver spoilers, but I believe he was okay. So that's the most important thing. But hopefully they can use this and build something really good with him. But I do think that triple threat tag match was a very good match. I mean, solid B. You take that incident away from it, it didn't kill the match. It made things a little rough there for the ending, but Hit Row did win, so they are going to face the Usos. But I think there's just a lot of opportunity to give us a whole nother story with Hit Row and Top Dollar and get people bought in and believing in them. We then got the close of the show and the return of Roman Reigns. 3 weeks since Roman's been out. He hasn't been back since War Games. The Bloodline dominated War Games from that perspective. And he was talking about, what's next. He wanted, earlier in the show, they talked about giving KO a match with Roman and Sammy, and KO had to find a partner. And they could have done some cliffhanger stuff. They were in Chicago. Would have been funny to see them play into that. They definitely had the crowd muted through many parts of the show, so I'm assuming there were a lot of CM Punk chants going on. They muted that. If I were them, I would have played into the idea of who KO's partner would have been and talking about Chicago natives or something. They could have done something to kind of lead people to think it would be Punk, right? But it's cool they didn't because they gave us John Cena. The return of John Cena, he hadn't competed in WWE at all this year, so that was cool. They told that story. Last possible second, he will be competing. He'll be in a match, teamed up with KO, which makes so much sense. I mean, KO's first main roster appearance was, him beating Cena and standing tall over him. So there's a lot of history there. I think this match will, I hope this match happens, and if I were booking this, if I had the pencil, I would have Sami Zayn get the victory over Cena. And then start telling that story of Sami feeling very confident about his abilities. He put down John Cena, he pinned him, and look to tell that story as we look toward, what do we do with John Cena at WrestleMania? I feel like the likelihood, WWE definitely wants Cena at WrestleMania. This is WrestleMania Hollywood. I think Cena probably wants to be there. I think he very much wants his movie career to be reminiscent of The Rock. So I think he probably wants to be able to do something at WrestleMania in Hollywood. I would imagine, I still believe probably The Rock will be there. I've had my doubts on that, but recently The Rock unfollowed Warner Brothers Discovery and DC, and people. The reports are it's in the wake of the poor response to the Black Adam movie franchise. But if I'm not mistaken, Warner Brothers Discovery are the parent company of TBS, which of course is where AEW's programming is. So I think The Rock not having social media connections to the parent company that airs the AEW wrestling programs is probably because we're going to be seeing The Rock back on WWE programming, probably Royal Rumble, where I do believe we'll see John Cena also. I think it'd be kind of interesting if we got down to the Final Four and Rock and Cena were both part of the Final Four. Give us, a little bit of a throwback to the once in a lifetime, twice in a lifetime that I believe is 10 years old now. So I think that would be kind of a cool way to go with Rumble. You can get a little bit of a nostalgia thing going with those guys and work to bring them both into something at WrestleMania. Most likely Rock versus Roman. I don't think we're going to see it be Cena versus Roman again. I think that story's been told, and I don't think there's anything to play back. What I think there is Sami Zayn and John Cena. And I think that will bring John Cena as the catalyst for the bloodline to turn on Sami. I think you have Sami pin him in the tag match. You have Sami could eliminate him in the Rumble. And set up the match with him and Sami at Mania. And Sami goes over at Mania. This leads to Sami developing an ego. He gets his WrestleMania moment over John Cena. He's a big deal. He's a big shot. He starts, kind of getting a little, as my mom would say, getting a little too big for his britches. And have to get put in his place, and that's when the bloodline turns on him. I think, all in all, I think SmackDown was yet another good show. I think they're setting up some good things. The eventual fall of Roman's empire. I think that's inevitable. But I do think it was a really good show. It's setting up for some good things over the next month of TV for WWE. I would imagine that it's not next week's SmackDown, it's the following week's SmackDown appearance with John Cena. I wouldn't anticipate a follow-up after that for that week. They'll probably give it 2 weeks to simmer, maybe. Have Cena announce he'll be in the Rumble. Maybe they'll announce it. Maybe they won't. Maybe they'll just let it be a shock if he comes out. That John Cena coming out for Rumble, his return was a pretty epic moment that still gets plays on YouTube to this day. So I think there's something to be said there for just letting Cena just do the match and then seem like he goes back to his movie career and then have him come back to Rumble and they can do a program between Rumble and Mania between him and Sami. I think that'd be cool. Last night we also had we had House of Glory indie show took place in New York. You had some it put together a lot of good matches. They had Jacob Fatu, he's a family member of Roman Reigns and The Rock. He's not not storyline bloodline. He's legit relationship to these guys. He's the HOG House of Glory champion. He defended that title against Nick Aldis, the former NWA World Champion, recently leaving that promotion. A guy who put the NWA on his back and carried it around for several years and really made those three letters mean something again, in my opinion. They competed and they totally. I'm only going to hit on a few of the matches from that card, but they told a really good story in the match of Jacob Fatu's leg. You have Nick Aldis, a fan of the figure four leg locks. You had a lot of things happen there. The commentary team did a great job talking about the power moves that Fatu was utilizing and the wear and tear on the leg that was being attacked by Nick Aldis throughout, and great ring psychology throughout the entire thing. It was a really, really good match. The only thing for me that hurt it was Jacob Fatu goes over, so Nick Aldis loses. Fatu retains his title. The ending of the match, though. So the story was Fatu's left leg was a leg that was sustaining the damage throughout the match. So he goes for like a pop-up Samoan drop kind of thing. His leg gives out. They tell that story a little bit. Boom, boom, boom. Hit some stuff. Jacob Fatu lands a super kick. Leads into a big springboard moonsault that he does. He landed the super kick. The kick was with his right leg. So he planted on his left. I'm many years of martial arts, many years of MMA and kickboxing and striking. And if the compromised leg is your left leg, you're not going to plant all your body weight at over 300 pounds onto that left leg. That should have been another opportunity to have the leg give out. Then to hit the super kick after planting 300 pounds on it, to then go and hit the springboard and not have a reaction to it, it killed the entire story they told. Still a great match. Your average fan, not this level nerd that I am, doesn't even matter. For me, it mattered. The moment he landed the super kick and hit the springboard, it's like, damn it. They lost everything. The psychology was there. It was right there. They could have just 90 more seconds of match to have the leg fail on that super kick, have Aldis hit something, immediately have Fatu counter with planting on the right foot, and then you still could have hit the moonsault. Moonsault still could have happened, but he would have needed to sell the leg injury briefly. Then he could have got on top. He could have got the pin on Aldis with a very deep leg hook. Deep. To just really sell like, I know I missed time, but I really have to put some effort into this pin. It would have been an absolute A-plus match. Most fans, it's there anyway. For me, at my level of nerddom, I'm really, really being nitpicky here. So, there's no hate on the match because it's great. They also, Low-Ki versus Kenta. Man, Low-Ki can wrestle. I like the whole kind of vibe he puts off with the character he's portraying. Very Hitman-esque from the video game. Just really good spots. The missing the knee and following back with the backdraft kick, just looked so cool. Kenta just, again, he's always been great. And I wasn't aware that this match was their rematch from 05. So, that's kind of a long-term story of a promotion that didn't even happen in. So this is the first House of Glory show I've watched, I believe. I've probably seen little bits and pieces here, but first full-on event I've watched on Fight Plus. Great app, great streaming service to catch a lot of combat sports and pro wrestling. I'm not aware of the story of the detectives that came out and interfered in this. So they really should have given me something to make me aware of that. I still don't know. I haven't looked into it yet. I hope I don't spoil any of this for anybody, but it happened last night. So if you're interested, you already got the results. Here's what I'm going to tell you. The matches were fantastic. If you like good pro wrestling, you'll love the House of Glory show. So sign up for Fight Plus. If you're following us on social media platforms, we've shared our code. You can sign up. You can get 2 months free if you sign up for a year. If you like combat sports, if you like MMA, if you like bare knuckle fighting, if you like slap fighting, if you like jiu-jitsu, if you love pro wrestling, and if those are things you're into, that's why you're already here checking out the podcast. Fight Plus is a great app for you. Main event was the Briscoes. Just tune in. Just watch the Briscoes versus. The main event was Briscoes versus main event. The 2 out of 3 falls matchup. They put together something really, really cool to watch. And it's amazing to see the Briscoes do this match after they just did that dog collar match a week ago. So tune in, check that out. I think, it's just worth the watch. If you get 1 month of Fight, pay the $4.99 for Fight Plus for a month, check that card out. There's just really, really good stuff happening on that card. Just fun pro wrestling. I like the venue they were in. I thought it was kind of a cool setup. It'd be cool to see a pro wrestling show in a venue like that. But guys, what a crazy week. Return of John Cena. We'll see him in action in 2 weeks. And, we got some good story to build over, as we are almost on the road to WrestleMania. I think they officially don't count it till Rumble happens, but I mean, that's where we're all looking. We're all looking to Mania. So until next time, guys, this has been Jeremy and Mark, and we are the Don't Say the F Word podcast, where we do not use the F word when we talk about professional wrestling. You shouldn't let your friends use it either. Please subscribe, like, and share everything we put out there. We're on social media, Don't Say the F Word podcast, on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. We are the Don't Say the F Word podcast on YouTube. Thank you for checking us out, guys. Have a good one.